Tony sells it with the line. I got Matt Hooper, who is one of the country's leading, really digital transformation specialists. I mean, really figuring out how to hack the way we do business today. And Matt, this is your second show, and we had so much fun. I wanted to do another one and talk. There's a great book out called Innovator's Dilemma, and it makes this great mathematical argument how companies, when they achieve a certain size, can never innovate anymore. And people think that Google is one of the most innovative places under the sun, yet they just keep buying all these companies. And why are they buying them? Because they can't keep that innovation in-house. And the theory is really simple. When a company gets over $1 billion, any $5 million idea doesn't get executed. It doesn't happen. It's not $500,000 idea. Forget about it, right? The reality of the need that they have to move that needle, to hit quarterly earnings reports, to do all those things are so great they cannot fund those great ideas. And big companies really need a methodology, need ways to engage little companies to bring that innovation house. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a challenge, with things like SOX and this rigor of change control that happens in big organizations. There has to be so many levels of approval. There's so many eyes on the system. Obviously, cybersecurity is a big issue. So people don't want a lot of changes in their technology because that introduces a significant amount of risk. Mm-hmm. Just look at the retail sector. There's a massive amount of new features, new capabilities that come out in the springtime. Somewhere towards the end of summer, heading up towards fall, things start slowing down, and then it's lockdown all through fall and through winter. Right. It's that natural visceral reaction to risk that bigger organizations, fall into. They're now trending. They've got traction that they're banking on, mm-hmm. and they have investors, right? So the stakeholder value has changed from creating value to sustaining value. Right. So it's a natural dilemma.
No, Matt, you've got your feet. You've done the startup route. You've done the exit. Now you're a consultant. You're trying to help these companies really embrace that. What is your methodology to help them understand how to make the connection to take the leverage from innovation and really make it happen inside their organization?
Yeah, I focus mostly on the IT side of the house, mm-hmm. and I view it from that perspective because they really are the underpinning of what an organization can do. When you look at organizations that have phenomenal technology and technology delivery, they're always successful. You can go on from Zappos, eBay, all the web scale companies obviously have that focus. But it really does come down to how you perceive yourself. At the end of the day, it's like landing that job where you're a middle-level manager versus this truly strategic person. Mm-hmm. If you view yourself as someone who can add value and you can show that you can create value, people are going to view you that way. Mm-hmm. IT, unfortunately, has fallen into this dilemma where they view themselves as a supplier, mm-hmm. right? There are practices in IT where they literally will call themselves customer. I'll give you a great example. I was at a workshop, and there was a senior executive from CVS mm-hmm. in IT, mm-hmm. and there was a senior executive in IT from Harvard Medical School. Well, Harvard Medical School started talking about the customer, right? And the guy from CVS started talking about the customer. Right. And I stopped and I said, I'm confused. Who's who? The guy from CVS says, the customer is the person who walks in to get their prescription filled. Yeah. The guy from Harvard said, the customer is the person who's using my network at the school, usually like accounting, finance, legal. Wow. And I said, well, that's not really allowing you to build towards what your real revenue drivers are. Right. That's certainly not allowing you to be innovative. It's not going to allow you to think about ways to go, and
it's so crazy. Like that's the greatest leverage that we've ever achieved as human beings is technology, the greatest tool. Yet they're not taking a strategic seat in the C-suite to make a difference in how they deliver the value. I mean, that's how ridiculous that is.
Yes. A former CIO, James Dallas, once said, he goes, I'm all for shadow IT as long as I'm casting the shadow.
Amen.
Right.
Amen. Right.
And I love that expression because he views himself as an enabler. Right. And I think that's what the challenge is today in the organizations is people hate IT.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, the thought of calling help desk is a brutal thing. Right?
And I can see, I'm guilty of it, right? We, for the first 2 years we went to market, we were wrapping services around technology. We thought we would use it better than our our clients. We grew efficiencies from adoption and from understanding it, from signing. And it was about 6 months ago. I said, "Oh my, I'm crazy. What am I doing?" It's like I'm giving all the most valuable stuff and creating the value there, and then I'm not taking the credit for the things that's most important. We started spending money on middleware and making, finding efficiencies for ourselves, and we're literally flipping our model upside down to become, a technology company that also sells services instead of the services company that had a small tax of technology in there. And it's easy to fall in that because we all hate adoption. We all hate learning. We all hate change, right? And so it's easy to not want that new thing, even though that new thing may be your cure for cancer. It's baked in our humanness, but that's why technology's got to lead, right? I mean, that's why they have to have, they have to cast a shadow, to your point.
Absolutely. And if you've ever followed John Cotter's organizational change management philosophy, that's the big piece of it, right? You have to allow people to understand the vision. And then you have to find those champions, people who can embrace it and start looking for those early wins and showing them success. Big companies, they struggle with that because their projects, even for it to get to an executive level, usually have to be of some size and scale. Mm-hmm. They don't want to manage a portfolio of 1,000 little projects, even though the success rate and the value to the organization might, exponentially be, significantly higher than just a few big projects. Right. It comes down to two things: resistance to change and laziness. Right? Those are the barriers to really making progress in any company, whether you're 3 people or 3,000 people or 300,000 people. So you have to break it down. You have to analyze it. That's, the innovation dilemma is probably, hitting on that point of the smaller that it is, the more you can see the outcome. It's more tangible. And the more that you can react to things as they start to fail. The linear approach to getting technology out, we know, is stifled by the end result taking so long, and then the requirement. And that's been 20 years of IBM research showing that those projects fail.
Amen.
But chunks, easier, faster, and let's face it too. You look at some of the technologies that out there today. Maybe they're not as scalable, but most people will tell you that they'd rather hit a little bit of instability when they really need that functionality to work, that it works great. And so the more durable systems aren't as much of an attraction today, I think, in the enterprise.
Right. Well, and I think it's one of the reasons, mobile's becoming such a dominant thing. We want adoption. We all know how to use our phone. If I can get it there and I can have access to it, that's why I'm, swipe and be done. Right. I mean, that's where we're going. And easy use is everything. Hey, great having you on the show. Thanks so much. I can't wait to talk to you again.
Great. Thank you, Tony.